everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tuber. Welcome back. It is your 10th Nancy Drew Season 4 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the Big Brew world. We're here. We're in the last month of Nancy Drew ever. This is the last month of new episodes. After this month is over, we're drawing to a close. I want to say, I have to think of the schedule in my head right now, but I believe we should be good. I believe so. So, I was confused for a second, and now that I'm thinking about it, no, I think we're good. So that I originally thought the series finale is going to come out at the very end of the month, but it actually is going to come out the second to last week of the month. So I'm very happy because I was actually going to go out of town on Wednesday night of the last weekend of the last week of August, going into the first week to Labor Day weekend in September. So I was kind of scared, am I not going to be able to see it live? That would be kind of crazy because I'll be on a plane, so there'd be no way I couldn't record it because it's impossible. So, but thankfully we'll wrap up the shift. So I'm okay. I'm thankful that I'll be able to be there live. I'm thankful. But this is it. This is the last month of episodes, that we'll ever get to see. The Drewniverse ends after this month. It's bittersweet to think about it that, we were just at the very end of May talking about the first episode. Now here we are, about to come up on the end. It's very surreal. I'm not ready for it. I'm really not, but the next 4 weeks are going to go by so fast that, it'll be it's going to be very bittersweet. But with this week's episode to talk about, this was a very new lore heavy episode, getting into the elements of the actual the overall season long plot. This is the episode where we're really getting into the meat of it in its own way. Definitely they're trying to not only just pay the solutions to everything that we've been questioning about since the first episode of the season, but as well as beginning the last stretches of these are the things you need to be worrying about going into the final, now 3 episodes of the season, the last 3 hours. And, these are going to be very crucial. This is going to be very crucial because not only do you have to now wrap up this season, you have to wrap up the entire series, make sure everyone gets very conclusive finales, so to speak, so we don't clamor for a revival or something down the road. I would love a revival, but obviously, with a strike going on right now on both sides, we're not even able to talk about it really, but just overall speaking, I think this was still a very good episode. I was very pleased for what they have to offer. Again, this is very much this is still feeling this was being written as a 4th season of an ongoing show, not as a final season. Definitely there were some moments where they were kind of hoping this would pick up further in a season 5, but obviously they weren't going to be granted that. So we're kind of given to what we're due here. But with that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Nancy Drew. So picking up where we had last time, Nancy has shot Tristan Sin Eater. He's reacting to the poison, and then he's reverting back to Tristan himself. Of course, obviously Nancy and Riot are appalled because what the fuck did we do? Technically, do we save the day or do we commit a murder? We're kind of confused here. Tristan kind of being already self-conscious, still very much his normal citizen self, his own personality kind of has taken over. Still cracking jokes. As he's oh, this is great. It's our first technical date, and I get to meet your dad already. And I'm God damn this kid. He's he's delirious. He's just very much delirious. So from that point onwards, they split up. They take the body. Nancy heads back to her castle with Tristan to hope that Bess can cure him up. While Ryan, in a state of confusion, goes back to Carson's house. Immediately tells him what's going on. What's happening? Obviously, Carson's y'all know what the glasses are capable of, and you only fuck with them on a relic scale. Imagine when you fuck over their son. What do you think they're gonna do by that point? So obviously, it's gonna be a very big question mark going forward as we progress through. What are the glasses really capable of? Honestly, there is still some very much unfinished business between the Drews, between everyone and the glasses. Definitely. There's something that's going to be said about that at some point eventually. We're back at the castle. Tristan's really in agonizing pain. Bess is trying to find as many material as she can in the castle. Thankfully, Nancy didn't alter too much from Tempest's old villainous headquarters. They're trying to figure it out, but Bess is being completely honest. Without having the historic society anymore and only having these bare bone ingredients, the chances of survival, it's not looking good. It's not really looking good to Tristan. So they find this very mystical anesthesia, so he'll be able to feel less of the pain. He's still gonna feel like crap. He's still gonna feel the worst pain in the world right now, but it won't be the worst pain in the universe, if that makes sense. They call up Ace, and Ace is like, yeah, I really don't know anything about this, but all I'll say is that, you know, the arrow is laced with poison. The longer you leave this arrow inside of him, he's gonna, like, the time span you have to heal him is gonna be shorter and shorter and shorter. So, they have no choice. Nick pulls out the arrow. He's in agonizing pain, but thankfully the mystical urge takes effect. It manages to cover up the wound, but sadly the poison's already in the body. And since it was a very specifically made poison, it's going to take a very specifically made antidote to fix this. And sadly the timing could not be worse as the Glasses show up with Ryan and Carson. They're immediately pissed off, like, what the hell's going on? Why'd you try to kill our son? And they're like, well, we know he's a sin eater. He's like, ah, shit, yeah, you're right. Like, we knew too. This wasn't like somebody like, oh my God, you're trying to kill our son. This is murder. This is definitely what we need to, like, take you guys out of the town for good. It's like, oh no, we knew about it. We knew about it since the day we adopted him. Oh, so he's not the biological son. He's just an adopted kid. So with everything's calmed down, everything's kind of like, you know, settled in. Nancy goes back to the point of, like, the Sin Eater, that the Sin Eater is basically a reincarnated being that takes over. This is the part where they got, if it was like random babies or like it just reincarnates, like once it dies, it just like rebirths itself to a new baby. Like, I'm not 100% certain about that. But regardless of what may be, this is a being that has like long existed in Horseshoe Bay for many, many years. Now, why hasn't the Drew crew ever heard about it in the last 9 to 10 months? Is a really good question mark, but, you know, it is what it is by that point. The Glasses also answered the whole original, the bodies we saw back in the premiere. They explained that this was part of one of their many attempts to try and remove the Sin Eater from Tristan, but it failed and it caused these previously dead beings to come back. So that explains everything, which I'm like, it was kind of random. It kind of had really nothing to do with the Sin Eater, but like now that they kind of tied it in, like they don't go into too much detail, like what the hell they try to do, but at least they explain, like, yeah, it's related. So I'm like, yeah, there you go about that. Obviously, Bess is, like, kind of, like, you know, not really happy with the Glasses right now, considering the fact they tried to kill her once before, and Ryan's like, you know what, if you want to step out of this episode, you can, you know, we got a lot of people working on this case right now, so it's perfectly fine if you want to go do something else for the week. And Bess is like, you right. Ace calls in trying to, like, see if he can help out as well, but the way Bess puts it, like, yeah, too many people today, like, I'm gonna go to you and help you out with your ghost thing, so at least Bess feels important this week. So they're determining that since the specific type of poison they use, they need to find an antidote, which can only be made with the previous sin that the Sin Eater ate. That should be enough to, like, somehow magic something. I don't really know. I'm actually at my wit's end here. Like, how does this make sense? I don't really know. But regardless of the case might be, they need to find the previous sin that Tristan ate, and that should be enough to, like, kind of revert the effects of the poison. So, you know, it won't kill the Sin Eater anymore, but they'll save Tristan. That's the most important part. And they got 10 hours to do so. So they got a very tight window to save Tristan. So, like, literally the race is against the clock right now. So yeah, Ace decides, you know what, since he's kind of being benched as well, he decides to resume talking to the ghost. The ghost manages to take some sort of incorporeal form. It's a little bit creepy. It kind of looks like the hitchhiker from before, so kind of confirming Ace's, like, suspicions. However, the ghost is still pretty shy, so it vanquishes pretty quickly. Bess shows up and immediately decides to help Ace. You know what? I got nothing else to do. Let's go figure out this, like, mysterious ghost thing. Because, like, it's kind of random this ghost is here. There has to be a reason, so we'll find out. We'll find that in a bit. Once we get to the next morning, where this is, I think, where they split up into two teams, where Ryan and the Mrs. Glasses are going to go resume their search to try and find a way to permanently cure the Sin Eater away from Tristan. So they're going to go back and explore that logic. Maybe that could save his life, at least for the moment. Maybe take the poison with the Sin Eater. While I want to say the team of Carson, George, and Mr. Glasses are going to try and find something with the Sin Eater somehow. I want to say Nancy goes back to the Black Room site to find more. This is where I get my memory gets a little bit foggy here. I know Ryan and Mrs. Glasses have a very tense relationship. It's nothing, that's to be proud of. They're both parents of kids that are in love with each other, or at least infatuated with each other. So they got their own agendas here right now. Oh no, actually no. Wait, Nancy doesn't go back to the Black Room. She actually teams up with Nick to explore this possibility of, like, what if we go inside of Tristan's subconscious, maybe we can find out who was the last person he ate the sin from. So they use this similar powder they used in the last couple of weeks to infiltrate his mind. They go inside. They're in the woods, but it's not what they see. They just see Tristan transforming into the Sin Eater, and then we see all the previous beings that were the Sin Eater appear, and that's kind of like how we all get started from that point onwards. I want to say by that point, Tristan kind of wakes up, and it doesn't really give them anything. Tristan just says some very cryptic clues of like where the last sin could be, including the term dandelions. Eventually, George manages to find this nearby residence that has a website presence that has a lot of dandelions in it, so it must be him. So they go over there, and apparently the ritual is like they have to confess the sin again in the jar. And they're going to use that sin, the confession, to cure the poison. Again, I don't really know. I'm really stretching for the tooth here. I'm just being honest there. They over there, for some reason, it's like, we're your new neighbors. And I'm just like, there is no way this is a convincing, like, you got two middle-aged men and a young woman. Like, in what scenario is this a family? Like, regardless of the case might be, they just show up with flowers saying that, hey, we're your new neighbors. And George is immediately like, punches him out. It's like, you're going to confess your sin right now. No questions asked. And Carson's just like flabbergasted because like, am I being part of a crime? Is this a crime here? Like, what is going on with my life right now? What is my life? So Bess and Ace resume trying to communicate with the ghost. Sadly, Bess is not able to see the ghost or hear the ghost whatsoever. Apparently, the ghost only wants to speak to Ace right now for plot convenience or some reason like that, or maybe she just has a crush on Ace. I really don't know. But they eventually determined that no, this ghost is not the hitchhiker that was previously thought to be deceased. So through the cryptic clues of the ghost, they head over to the nearby forest, following the ghost's guide, and they find the hitchhiker still alive. Her leg is broken, and now they got a chance to save her. So they do manage to save her from the pit. They get her out of there, however, because it's a nearby thunderstorm, and because Ace is still wearing the headphones that allows him to communicate with the ghost. A nearby thunder comes in, which breaks a nearby tree, but thankfully the ghost manages to use some of its power to push away the tree, managing to save the two of them. Well, actually, all three of them. Ryan and Mrs. Glasses are exploring a nearby site that could be the key to helping out, finding, the cure. Even Mrs. Glasses getting a little personal with Ryan, saying that, yeah, we tried for many years. When we adopted him, we found out when he was 5 about this, and we've been trying ever since to find a way to break the curse, to break this ritual, but nothing has happened. And, along the way, they kind of made a lot of enemies with the relic community, with the supernatural community. Like, it's very much like, they're kind of like outcasted by this point. But Ryan, seeing that, he's a father, she's a mother, they both want to care for the kid. He does relate to her. He decides to help her out. It's like, hey, give me some of your recent notes. Oh, I got a guy. He might be able to decrypt it for me, since that you're still technically barred from a lot of people across America right now. So I'm basically your only real hope here. So George and the others bring over the sin confession. They kind of, transfer its contents into the poisonous hole. However, sadly, it is not the solution. It does not work. It makes little to no effect. It only makes it worse, and the timetables are ticking, so they have no choice but to re-inception into Tristan's mind to find the last sin. The original, the first ever host for the Sin Eater appears, takes Nancy through the imagination of the Black Room into whatever the Black Door has beyond it. Even Nancy has a line of saying, like, why does this look like the black, like, the undergrounds of the yacht club? And it's like, it's just how, we perceive it to be. Like, the entrance to the where we keep all the sins. And in reality, it's just like, it's a budget thing. It's just to save money. This is using existing sets, save a couple $1,000. They head over to the Black Room, and it's just a line of capsules that's filled with vials of previously eaten sins, and they find the most recent one, which, he doesn't tell them what the sin was, but, once Nancy is able to release it, and because of its connection right now, it's able to cure Tristan, saving his life, so he's all good. Everything's going to be fine with him. So yeah, I think from that point, yeah, so Mr. Glasses takes Tristan home to, kind of recuperate. Same with Mrs. Glasses. Nick is just again talking to Nancy about her feelings for Tristan. There was a lot of point where Nancy was just trying to be a good Samaritan, but at the same time she did have genuine feelings for him. And Nancy's just like, it just seems simpler to be with him. Like, there's no curse on us. There's no, like, any world impending, death here. It's just like, it's just two simple people that have an attraction to each other. That could make or break a natural couple. Who really knows? I really don't know either. But Nancy's now more important than ever to actually, explore to see where this can go. When Ace and Bess go back to the morgue, they get a call from the hospital saying that she's going to be fine. She'll reunite with her family. Everything's going to be fine. They thankfully saved the life. Obviously, they have to thank the ghost as well, who is the real savior here, that managed to help them find the body, help them find her. Bess leaves, and Ace manages to like summon her one more time, this time in a full incorporeal form. No shadow filters, no nothing. It's the full face. We don't know who she is. We really don't know. It's just a random woman. She appears and then she disappears again. What is her connection to Ace? Why is she picking Ace all of a sudden? And it's a big... I really don't know. I honestly really do not know. George and Carson have a scene at the house where, Carson's still kind of flabbergasted over the fact that George did a lot of illegal things to, like, get the job done. Like, yes, we saved a life, but they broke so many laws trying to do so. Like, so violent. And George's like, look, we're fighting against something called the Sin Eater. I don't think laws and trying to abide by them is literally the solution to trying to, like, get the Sin Eater off our backs. Definitely, we made the right play here. We made the right move, and now we need to actually now find a way to, like, somehow save Tristan, but, destroy the Sin Eater somehow. That's the big question right there. I want to say from beyond that point, I think that was it. We get to the no, wait, not yet. Ryan gets a text from his guy who manages to decrypt the most recent page from the Glasses research on trying to vanquish the Sin Eater, and the page reads that the way to kill the Sin Eater, to get rid of it, is to kill the last person who confessed their sins. Nancy and Tristan meet back up again at his castle. They're kind of in a romantic-ish, like, sitting down, like, kind of like, him thanking her. She's like, no problem. They're getting close. They really want to see where this can go, like, actually have a, try and true relationship, see where this can go. They're about to kiss, but then all of a sudden, the Glasses both show back up at Nancy's doorstep. They're like, we found out who was the person who confessed the last sin. It was you. And Nancy's like, wait, what? I don't remember. What the hell would I do that for? And obviously, of course, remember, the sin, confessing your sin, like, not only would just take away your sin, it would also eliminate your memory of it, so you don't remember it at all. So technically, Nancy would not remember if she did, and if she did, we didn't see it as the viewer. So at some point, she probably did. Maybe she didn't, or maybe the Glasses are just trying to, like, kill her once and for all. So they have all clues to kidnap her, which they do. They put a Perlac sack over her face, inject her with some relic, and they knock her out, and they take both her and Tristan, weakened Tristan, away to kill her, to free Tristan of the Sin Eater. But is that even true? Is everything going to be alright? To be completely honest, I really don't know. But that was it for this week's episode of Nancy Drew. For me, I thought this was really good. I really did. Definitely did something different with the Sin Eater mythos. Definitely kind of giving a much more, like, organic way to, like, actually give Nancy and Tristan a connection. The whole Ace and the Ghost thing, okay, we're still unraveling that. I don't know if that was just a plot device or just, like, helping to serve Ace's character at the end of the day. I'm not really 100% certain about that, but there definitely is kudos here, like, that there is a role to play. They wouldn't introduce this so late in the game unless it's going to be a crucial part in the final episode, so hopefully we'll get that revelation soon enough. Reminding yourself that the Glasses are a legitimate threat, like, like, the Sin Eater may not be a real threat to the town. It's just, like, it's got its own agenda, so to speak, so having the Glasses kind of be, like, a primary threat to the Drew crew definitely seems like to be, like, reeling back its ugly head again. I honestly thought the Glasses were just a one-and-done character at the beginning. Now that they're back in full force now, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to fuck with them either. But definitely, will Nancy get out of it? I really don't know. And again, with the last 3 episodes, like, there's just so much to do. Like, I don't fault the CW for canceling the show, but at the same time, I'm like, how are y'all going to resolve this? Like, there's just so much on the table right now that I'm very curious to see how this is all going to wrap up. I'm really curious. But for now, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it a whole lot. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Nancy Drew. I would love to hear it down below. But I believe this is going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, there's been 1 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the final season of Nancy Drew. If you want to know what we're doing normally, what's to do besides our Nancy Drew episode reviews. Currently, right now, we are reviewing Heels every episode for its 2nd season. And starting next week, we'll be back with High School Musical, the music of the series, the final season episode reviews. So stay for those. But if you don't care about Nancy Drew, your luck, we'll be back next week with another brand new episode review for you. So stay tuned until then. So just kind of to give a sneak peek of the remaining lineup for the because we're in the home stretch. Next 3 weeks, episode reviews leading into the series finale. And then the week after that will be the season 4 review. Non-spoilers for anyone who has yet to see the final season of Nancy Drew. And that will be it for now. Obviously, like I said before, back when we reviewed season 1, before season 4 started, the plan is in the future we will revisit season 2, 3, and 4 in a spoiler-filled fashion, but in far in the future to give enough time, give enough credence, give enough respect to the lore of everything. So we'll get to that at some point. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, like, favorite, share if you want to, and ring the bell for more cool content. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Drew crew out there, I'll see y'all next week. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.